and they decided to room check me one day, and in walks the district manager and supervisor that quote unquote told me she was gonna take me to night shift. So they're in there giving me this fucking 15-minute 20-minute speech about how I could move up in the company. And move up in the company? Do y'all really think I'm trying to work for y'all? Like, I'm not trying to work for y'all. What the fuck do I look like?
She look like a Leah. That's how I treat her.
What's good, NIKKI, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you are already subscribed to my channel, welcome back, NIKKI. So today's video is going to be about a topic that everybody voted for on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me at The Real Nikkineal. I'm gonna leave it in the description below. Today's topic is basically about how I quit my very last 9-to-5. And I've been running my own business since I was 19, so I can honestly tell you guys that I've quit my 9-to-5 a couple of times, you know, like in and out of my businesses. I've quit my 9-to-5, you know, a couple of times, but this was my last time quitting my very last 9-to-5. And I just want to tell you guys a story about how I stepped out on faith and, you know, kind of just believed in myself this time around to be like, I'm never going back. This is it. Like, this was final. I was running a hair company, as a lot of people know, and you know, I like selling hair. Selling hair was cool. It came with a lot of stuff that I didn't want to deal with, like chargebacks and all those type of things. So that the customers would get, like, you know, and I can understand it because people don't play about their hair. It is what it is. But selling hair wasn't my passion. So I was kind of just like over it. So I stopped selling hair and I had to get a 9-to-5. And I was really, I wouldn't say depressed, but I was just really lost at this point in time because a lot of people knew that I was doing music too. And it wasn't that I was lost doing music, it was just that I wanted to try doing music because I felt like it was something that, one, I always wanted to try, and two, I just wanted to see what the outcome would be, you know, with me trying to do it. And like, when I started doing music, I'm not gonna lie, like, a lot of shit took off really fast for me. If you have been following me on Instagram and on YouTube, when I was uploading, hold on, my lashes, bitch. When I was uploading my, you know, music and shit like that, it was taking off pretty quickly. I ended up getting booked for this festival, and I pulled out of the festival like a week before. The festival was like A3C, like Lil Wayne was, like, I was on the same lineup as fucking Lil Wayne. Like, I couldn't even believe it. Like, it was just too much. Granted, we weren't on the same stage, but just to see my name in the same lineup was like wild as hell. So at the end of the day, I ended up pulling out of A3C, and, you know, I had to talk with myself, and I was just like, this is not what I want to do. And I'm not the type of person to do something just because, one, everybody's doing it. Two, I'm not going to stay doing something if I know that's not what I really want to do. I'm the type of person to always try something once, though. So music was a dub for me. I had to go get a 9-to-5. Getting a 9-to-5, I was looking around. I just really couldn't find any places that were hiring in Atlanta. And then I finally ended up getting a job at a hotel. And so when I first got hired at the hotel, they told me that I applied for the front desk because when I was living in California at one point in time, I did used to work at a hotel, and I worked at the front desk overnight. So I applied for the front desk, and they told me that in order to go through the front desk, I had to do housekeeping for 90 days. This is what I was told by the supervisor that hired me. So, you know, thinking that I was gonna get transferred, I went ahead and, you know, did the housekeeping, and y'all, I hated it. I hated it. Granted, I worked at a hotel that was very, like, it was like a high-end hotel, and it was a lot of corporate people that came in, so it wasn't like a motel or anything like that. Like, it wasn't hella dirty or nothing like that. It wasn't the most you would have to do was like really clean bathrooms and vacuum. And I was really grateful that I had the opportunity to be able to pay my bills, you know, because I was at such a weird place in my life. You know, my boyfriend was going through a lot at that time, and I was going through a lot at that time, and it was just a lot for us personally. So as long as I was able to pay my bills, I wasn't really tripping. And so yeah, so if you're watching this and you do know me, a lot of people don't know that I was working in housekeeping, but I was. And I have a lot of respect for people who work in housekeeping because that is not an easy job. That job is hard, and a lot of people, you know, don't give credit to the people that, you know, do the jobs that are behind the scenes type shit. But yeah, that job is fucking hard. So anyway, I went through 3 supervisors at that job. 3. Like, I literally got into it with 3 supervisors at that job. And my main supervisor over all of us, I had to talk with him. I sat down and talked with him twice. He told me just to hang in there, you know, he'll talk to them and all this type of bullshit. He never did. I talked to the micromanaged supervisor that was supposed to be supervising all of us under him, and she said that she would move me to night shift. So, you know, a week went by and I was asking her about my schedule, like, hey, you know, my schedule isn't changed, what's going on? And she was like, oh, you know, we're just still doing training and we're gonna train you for night shift, then we're gonna take you on a night shift. And I'm like, okay. So the second week comes by and she's still giving me the bullshit, the same ass excuse. I made my first video, which you guys probably know is the video with the pink hair and the one about the do's and don'ts. And that video started like getting views, like crazy views out of nowhere. Like, I don't even know how that video blew up the way it did, but it started blowing up. And I remember watching my follower count go up and up and up while I was at work. Like, every day I would talk to my coworkers like, do you have YouTube? Subscribe to my channel. Do you have YouTube? Subscribe to my channel. So one day, this supervisor, she was a night shift supervisor, and she led me to believe that she was going to help me go to night shift and like all this extra shit. Like, and she was just like preaching to me like she knows that I'm a good person and she can foresee everything in my life and like everything that I've been through, and like just basically trying to give me the okie doke. But she seemed hella genuine at the time. So as the weeks went on, I realized that like she stopped talking to me. Like, when I first met her, she was like talking to me in the halls. Every time she see me, she'd say hi, like all this other shit. And then as the weeks went on, I noticed that she just stopped talking to me. Like, and I would come into like the little break room where I would leave my schedule or like my rooms, like the rooms that I've done and accomplished for the day. And like, it got to a point where she would see me and not even say nothing to me. And I thought it was the weirdest shit, because she just preached to me how she would like, how everybody was kind of like picking on me at that job, and like she was gonna take me out of my situation and kind of help me, and she didn't. She kind of just like left me hanging. And that right there honestly pissed me off, because it's just like, you didn't even have to talk to me at that point. Like, because I didn't even care. Like, I was so focused on trying to do my boutique and do my YouTube that I really didn't care about this job. I was just doing this job for money. But I knew that at one point in time, YouTube was going to hit for me if I just kept doing it. You know what I'm saying? If I just kept doing it, The next month, you know, when that video blew up, I had a lot of subscribers asking me, could you make us a vendor list? You know, we would love to buy it from you, know, just help us out type stuff. And I ended up making Bossy Coin. So that's how Bossy Coin came about. So if you don't know about Bossy Coin is my other business that I run. If you're unaware of like what I do, YouTube, I have Nikkinealbiz.com, which is an online boutique, and I also have Bossy Coin, which is an, you know, creative space for girl bosses to help them, you know, run their businesses. I offer vendor lists, I also offer e-courses, and I offer one-on-one consulting sessions. So I made Bossy Coin, and you know, I would get a couple of orders here and there while I was at work, but it was nothing too much to where I could like quit my job type shit. So a couple of weeks went by after I made Bossy Coin, and I had noticed that the traffic on Bossy Coin and my boutique was starting to pick up, you know, and I was still doing YouTube at the same time. And this is why I tell people, like, if you have a 9-to-5, don't quit your 9-to-5 to just pursue YouTube. Like, if you can do both of them at the same time, do that. Because I would literally work from 6 in the morning to like 12-hour shifts, like coming home at like 7:30, 8:30, and I think that's more than 12 hours. I don't know, but I think it's more than 12 hours. But I would work my ass off at work, come home, and be dead ass tired and still find a way to record on YouTube. So I always tell people, if you really want to take YouTube seriously, then you'll do what it takes and put in the work you know what I mean, to actually take it seriously. But I was working my 9 to 5, and also I was my 2 other businesses, and I noticed like along the way that I was getting orders. You know, my orders were starting to pick up like within the weeks. Like I would get, you know, I would have 2 orders, and I would have 4, and then 6, and then at one point it got to the point where my supervisors were starting to notice like my work ethic was diminishing. Like I wasn't really paying attention to detail, and when you work in a hotel, you have to pay attention to detail. Like there can't be a piece of dust on a glass cup or anything, or else you will get called out for the shit. Like it's ridiculous. Like they got on me about everything, like every single thing. It just didn't matter what it was. Like they was just always saying something to me. So one day, y'all, I'm telling y'all, and mind you, this had been ongoing for like 4 to 3 months. I can honestly say I was working on YouTube for about a good 7 to 8 months before stuff started to like really take off for me. So you have to be able to give yourself that time and create an exit plan. But I'm gonna tell you guys how something like kind of just worked out in faith for me, and it's not gonna be how everybody's story is gonna end up, but I can honestly say that I put in the work beforehand to be able to end up at this point. I went to work one day, and I want to say he was like the district manager. I feel like he was like the district manager for those hotels. And he came in, and out of all the people that he decided to room check, they wanted to room check me. Mind you, I was looked at as the problematic girl. 1, because I didn't let them talk to me any kind of way like they talked to the other girls. And 2, I was black. There wasn't a lot of black girls that worked at that hotel. Actually, there were no black girls that worked at that hotel besides me and another girl in housekeeping. There were no black girls, like none. They were all Hispanics. I don't have anything against Hispanics, but I'm just saying that if you weren't Hispanic, the Hispanics talked about you in Spanish. But me and my coworker, we used to laugh about it because they didn't know that we could understand Spanish. So we used to just pick up on the little shit that we say, and we would just be laughing. But like, it's not like we care, because it's like, you're not gonna do nothing. All you're gonna do is just talk shit about me at work. It ain't like you gonna throw hands. So it was whatever. I don't let anybody take me out of my element when it comes to money anyway, so it is what it is. So like I said, my orders started to pick up, and I remember my work ethic was like, you know, not as good as it was supposed to be, and they decided to room check me one day, and in walks the district manager and supervisor that quote unquote told me she was gonna take me to night shift. So they're in there giving me this fucking 15-minute 20-minute speech about how I could move up in the company. And move up in the company? Do y'all really think I'm trying to work for y'all? Like, I'm not trying to work for y'all. What the fuck do I look like? Like, I had my own business, and she knew that. Like, she knew what I had going on, and that's what really pissed me off. And that's what I don't be liking about, like, I'm not even gonna go into that, but she knew that I had like my own shit going on. That day, I remember that day clear as day. He was talking to me about like how I can move up in the company if I just took housekeeping seriously, and like all this extra shit. I'm just really looking at him like, wow, you must really think I'm like really hella slow. Like, that make, like, I just couldn't believe that the way he was talking to me was just so condescending. Please, like, I wouldn't want to be in any type of management position with them, let alone in fucking housekeeping. So they got done talking to me, and I was very vague with them. I was very quiet. I didn't really say nothing. And I remember I had 3 more like rooms on my thing to finish. I had like 3 more. I remember going back to the room that I had just came out of, and when I went to the room that we went and checked, it was a room that I had already did, and they told me to fix something, like fix like 3 things that was wrong in the room or something like that. And I remember going back to the room that I was working on, and I said to myself, I'm not gonna do this. And mind you, I just said to myself, I was like, I'm not doing this. And prior to that, I had remembered all day, I was texting my boyfriend, and I was like, I just got another order. Like, I just got another order. I just got another order. And it was so shocking to me, because it was like, when I really had put in the work to do this, I really had saw like the fruits of my labor, and it was crazy. Like, it was almost like I wanted to cry at work, because people don't even know, like, housekeeping is a hard ass job. Like, it's a hard job, and I commend anybody who does a job like that, because it was just so fucking hard. So for me to be able to make money hourly and then be making money like that on the side how I was making, it was like crazy to me. So like I said, I went back to that room and I just looked at myself. I really looked at myself in the mirror, and I was like, I'm not doing this shit. And I remember that was the next 2 days. I was gonna have those 2 days off. It was a Friday, and I was gonna have that Saturday and Sunday off, and I was gonna come back to work that Monday. And Saturday and Sunday, when I left the room just like it was. I didn't fix shit. I didn't fix nothing. I just left. I was just so done. I was so done. I was so done. I was so done. And in my head, right then, I had it in my mind that I wasn't coming back. I was quitting. This is what it was gonna be, and that's what it was. So I got home and I had a talk with my boyfriend, and my boyfriend was just like, you know, just think about it. You know, you might want to go back, you know, just like, you know, for job security. And I was like, you know, you're right. You know, all this type of stuff. And I was like, something in my heart was just telling me like I was just not supposed to be there. So I let the day and a half go by, and it was that Sunday, and I kept contemplating like, damn, am I gonna go back? Am I gonna go back? And that Monday morning came, and I was supposed to be to work at like 8:30, and I had woke up at like 9, and I just knew like I wasn't gonna go. I talked to my supervisor, and my supervisor, you know, she was kind of upset at first, but I mean, I kind of had to tell her like I quit, because another reason why was because the supervisor that I had that was checking my floors, he had pulled me to the side and told me that before I quit, he had put me to the side and was like, basically told me like I was making him look bad. You know what I mean? Because of my work ethic. And it was like, I was trying to email people and send out shit and do all types of stuff on their time, when I was like, man, I wish I could have been home and just doing this and not even have to deal with people saying anything to me. I said I didn't go to work that day, and I had it set in stone that I was gonna quit. Not even, y'all, I bullshit y'all not even maybe like 5 hours later, I had got approved to monetize on YouTube. That right there was my confirmation that I needed to trust my gut feeling on what I'm doing at all times, because deep down inside, you know. So I was so excited. Like, I was so nervous that day, because I honestly didn't know how things were going to play out for me. I just knew that like I had to get it some type of way, but I was just hella nervous. And then that day I got approved to monetize on YouTube, and I was like almost in tears. Like, I was so happy, because this was the moment that I was been waiting for. Not to like make money on YouTube, to be able to do what I want to do and make money from it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of people do YouTube and they hate it. They just do it for a check. But like, I like talking to y'all. So you know, it just was confirmation to me that like, this is what you're supposed to be doing, you know, and you're supposed to be helping girls. And that's how everything ended up playing out for me. Like, I honestly can say that I just took a leap out on faith, and shit just ended up happening for me. Maybe 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later, you know, my coworker reached out and told me that the supervisor at that job was trying to get in touch with me because they wanted to move me to the front desk. So it took y'all for me to leave, because I don't think nobody wanted to fire me. Like, they didn't want to fire me because they needed people to work, but they were so harsh on me that they wanted to make my time there a living hell so I could quit. But my supervisor over everybody, he wanted me to come back so I could work at front desk. And I thought about it, and I was like, I could come back and work at front desk. But then I thought about it, and I was like, I don't want to work for nobody else. I want to work for myself. So that's my story on faith, and like how I kind of just like quit my last 9 to 5, and you know, how you guys should never ever give up on something that you really want to do. Even if you're in a position that, you know, it makes it hard for you to do it, do your best and like try to do it anyway, because I promise you, if it's for you, it's going to be for you. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody. So do not listen to people when they tell you that, you know, it's going to be hard and like all this extra shit, because it is going to be hard. But they tell you it's going to be hard because they want you to think that it's not doable, and it is. It totally is. So that was my story time for today. Like I said, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me at @TheRealNikkiNeal. I will leave all the information below for Bossy Coin and for Nikkineal.com. Again, thank you guys for 10K. I'm so juiced. Like, the next click is mother freaking growing, y'all. It's growing, it's lit, all that shit. So like I said, don't give up. Always have faith in whatever the fuck you want to do, because you can do that shit. If I can do that shit, you can do that shit. So I love y'all, and I'll see you next time.